Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-3348. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-3348 is to be kept in a safe, secured via a combination lock at least 5 characters in length, which itself is to be contained within a safe class containment chamber. In order to prevent the contents of SCP-3348 from being spoken outside of testing, the antechamber connecting the containment chamber to the remainder of the facility is to be equipped with a mechanism capable of dispensing Class A targeted amnestics. Whenever personnel without Level 3, 3348 clearance or higher exit the chamber, the mechanism is to be activated in order to erase their memories of said contents. Description: SCP-3348 is a black leather-bound journal, written in a white field. On the front cover is the title, The Compiled Vocabulary of the Cage-Nethonian Language by Mandrid Motzer. The first several pages of the journal contain handwritten entries listing words in a previously unknown language, presumably Cage-Nethonian, along with their translations. These words are characterized by their extreme length. No entry has been observed to be any less than 6 syllables long. In addition, Foundation linguists are currently unable to find consistent traits between each instance, as if their structures are completely random. The remaining pages are blank, but an extra piece of loose paper was found in the back of the journal at the time of recovery. See Addendum 3348-02. SCP-3348's anomalous properties manifest when an individual, henceforth referred to as the subject, speaks one of the words contained within it. As soon as the word is completely spoken, all instances of the entity or concept it is associated with will become negatively affected in some way within a 30-meter radius of the subject. This effect manifests in one of 3 general ways, depending upon the chosen word's part of speech. Nouns. The affected entities will be altered in such a way that they will no longer be able to perform their intended function, and/or attempting to use them will cause harm to the user. Verbs. For 30 seconds after the subject speaks the word, anyone or anything attempting to perform the respective action will invariably fail, usually hurting themselves or others in the process. Adjectives. Entities exhibiting the respective trait will lose it. Addendum 3348-01, Test Log. The following is a list of the initial tests conducted with entries found within SCP-3348. Entry tested: Te Serix. Part of speech: noun. Translation: knife. Procedure: a knife and length of rope are placed on a table. The subject is asked to speak the word, then attempt to cut the rope with the knife. Results: the edge of the knife briefly heats to degrees Celsius before cooling down, now visibly dull. Subject attempts to make a cut in the rope for approximately 5 minutes before the knife suddenly snaps in half. Entry tested: Guzla edit. Part of speech: verb. Translation: to walk. Procedure: D-5033-9. Subject B is asked to attempt to walk from one end of the testing chamber to another after the word is spoken. Results: Subject B begins to walk forward. After a couple of steps, his legs buckle and he falls to the ground. Several more attempts are made, each resulting in the same outcome until the end of the 30-second period. Entry tested: Ki Waryak. Part of speech: verb. Translation: to fall. Procedure: after the word is spoken, subject is asked to lift a bowling ball off of the table and drop it at their feet. Results: the bowling ball does not fall, suspending itself in the air where it was released. After the 30-second time period, it falls to the ground at terminal velocity. Subject sustains minor injuries. Entry tested: Fazalva Wikuk. Part of speech: adjective. Translation: red. Procedure: a red apple is placed on a table and observed after the word is spoken. Results: the skin of the apple turns from red to a visual phenomena that is described by those present as indescribable and incomprehensible. Subject and observing personnel suffer from major headaches for the following hours. Entry tested at Jiricon. Part of speech, adjective. Translation, large. Procedure, a standard brand refrigerator is placed next to a sculpture of a fork made to be roughly the same size. Both are observed after the word is spoken. Results, the sculpture is shrunken to the size of a regular fork, but the refrigerator remains unaffected. Researchers note, this test reveals an interesting property of SCP-3348. Although the fridge and the fork were about the same size, only the fork was considered large. This seems to suggest some level of sentience, as the perception of the subject seems to make a difference in the outcome. We will test on more perception-based entries to confirm this hypothesis. Lead researcher Dr. Hapton. Entry tested as Etia. Part of speech, noun. Translation, love. Procedure, D03934 and D14045, subjects B and C, who are known to be romantically involved with each other, are placed together in the testing chamber and observed after the word is spoken. Results, subject B and subject C look at each other with apparent looks of disgust and hatred, moving away from each other and repeatedly requesting they be removed from the testing chamber as soon as possible. Entry tested, as midav. Part of speech, adjective. Translation, hostile. Procedure, subject A, security officer B, is to say the word, then interact with D99328, subject B. Note that subject B has on multiple occasions verbally and physically assaulted subject A, and has openly expressed his negative regards towards him. Results, subject B enters room in which subject A is waiting, and exhibits a positive reaction to him, greeting him warmly and offering a handshake. Subject A is prompted by researchers to refuse and provoke the subject B, but subject B's disposition sees no apparent change. Since this experiment, subject B has been uncharacteristically cooperative with staff. Entry tested, it's guapo. Part of speech, verb. Translation, improve. Procedure, researcher Dr. Subject B and junior researcher Dr. Subject C, who is a tomato allergy, are asked to apply generous servings of ketchup to hamburgers placed in front of them simultaneously after the word is spoken. Results, subject B effortlessly performs the task, but subject C expresses overwhelming difficulty when attempting to tip the ketchup bottle to the appropriate angle. When subject B is prompted to attempt to assist, he reports that he cannot move it until subject C removes her hands from the bottle. Entry tested, Jugi. Part of speech, noun. Translation, property. Procedure, 3 identical staplers. Items 1 through 3 are placed on a table in front of the subject and observed after the word is spoken. Item 1 was bought by the subject, Item 2 was bought by an associate and given to the subject, and Item 3 was brought in specifically for this test. Results, the spring mechanisms of Items 1 and 2 suddenly snap, but Item 3 remains intact and fully functional. Notice from lead researcher Dr. Hapton. Upon review of the collected data from the above tests, it is of my professional opinion that further testing by our team will fail to yield any additional meaningful information. However, if you are a researcher needing to use SCP-3348 for your own experiments, please have a project lead contact me so that arrangements may be made. Addendum 3348-02 Recovery. SCP-3348 was recovered and contained on 20. Shortly after, several Hume sensors detected a sudden and brief drop 0.5 kilometers away from the front entrance of Site, where it is currently being held. Upon recovery, a handwritten note was found in the back of the journal on a separate piece of paper. The contents of the note are as follows. To whomever finds this, I need you to keep my work safe. As I write this, there are several very angry individuals coming to destroy what I have done. To think my own colleagues, my former friends supposedly dedicated to the preservation of truth and knowledge, coming to me, and all of a sudden telling me that recording it is wrong. When I discovered the Cajun Athonian language, it was nearly lost to history. I thought I was the first. Turns out I wasn't, and they tried to bury history on purpose. Some ancient war or something of the sort, I'm not sure. But they nearly destroyed all records of the Cajun Athonians on purpose. Nearly. They said what I was doing was forbidden. So here I am now, writing to you in a dark corner of the library, hoping that this way leads to where I think it does. No safer place in the universe than one of the jailer's cells, right? Please, I know that your people are as dedicated to the protection of knowledge as I am, or maybe by now was. Hopefully this arrangement won't be permanent. If I get out of this alive, I'll be coming for my book. I fully intend to finish what I started. From one scholar to another. Mozart. Given the content of the note, as well as the circumstances of SCP-3348's recovery, it is to be assumed that the individual known as Mandarin Mozart somehow obtained knowledge of the location, or at least the approximate location of site, and has a means to reach it. An investigation to find the possible mode of information leakage is currently underway, and site security has been updated accordingly. Okay, I think that about does it for today. Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Goodbye. I would like to give a special thank you to Big Sip, Zargaron, Oh Crap Guy, The Morrigan, James Saba, Braided Peach, That Loser, Heroin Sick, Richard Broadhurst, Fire of Prime, Indy vs. the World, Rubbish Bin 69, Dr. Wolf 13, Cupster, Worthy Fire, Zazapan, Irish Wristwatch, Signar, Alatreon, Your Local Foundation Agent, Derivative, and Lost Boy. If you would like a special thank you at the end of each of my videos, and some other cool stuff as well, visit patreon.com/TheVolgun. Thank you.